You lack intelligence, as in you didn't gather the necessary information before making your move across the map. You just saw a shiny old settlement for the taking and charged after it blindly, ending up in a bad situation because you didn't simply check what was ahead of you. You then backpedal as quickly as possible to try and make up for the mistake you've made, but it's no good. You end up in a situation that gets your army killed or at least severely beaten up. And all because you lacked the intelligence to know what was going on around you. So let's talk about the various ways you can gather intelligence. First of all, in this Kislev campaign here, we're at war with the Ropsman clan, right? We got 4 settlements to take, and we've just taken 1 settlement of a 4-settlement province, and of course we want to take the rest. So how do we decide where to attack? There's 3 different places nearby that we could go for. Which one is best to take first? Well, that's where your heroes come in. These are going to be the eyes of your campaign. They can be sent into enemy territory to scout around and see what's there with very little risk to you losing anything other than potentially the hero. The main thing we're looking for here though is the enemy army. If we know where they are, we can make much better informed decisions. As we can see, there's nobody in Igreov and nobody in Fort Yakova to the east, so they must be somewhere north or west of us. So we'll send our hero to check across there, and we can see there's nobody in Volksgrad, so it's very likely that they're going to be at Prague, which is directly north of Kislev, so we need to be aware of that. If there is going to be a big army north of us, it might come down to try and attack our city, but for now, there's nothing over here, so we can press the attack on these settlements that are undefended. And on to the next turn, we continue the search towards Prague, and what do you know, there's the big army we've been looking for. So now we know where their army is. They've got a second little army as well. And as I mentioned, Kislev is a little bit threatened here. It's only got a 10 garrison, so if those 2 armies come down and attack Kislev, it's probably going to fall. So we're going to get some defenses. I'm going to recruit a lord and get just a small army here to help bolster the garrison of Kislev, which is going to be a little bit expensive for us at the moment. We're going to take a hit to our income. But it means if this army comes down and tries to attack Kislev, we don't need to worry so much and we should be able to fight them off. And it's going to allow me the freedom to attack all these other settlements of this faction and take those 3 settlements that I'm looking for while they are undefended and the enemy army is away. Now as we move on to the next turn, my hero is still scouting out there, gathering information, and we find that the big army of the enemy is moving towards Volksgrad, moving towards us potentially. So this piece of information tells us that they may well go and defend Volksgrad, so it's probably not worth attacking that just yet. They're going to beat us to it. We're not going to be able to get there before them. So if we go this way, it's probably going to be too tough of a fight to win. So we'll go the other way, and we'll take Fort Yakova instead. Or at least we would if these goddamn goats didn't suddenly appear next to the settlement we've just taken, so we got to deal with them first. Which does cost us a turn of time, but that's fine. We're still able to take Fort Yakova, no problem. And my little scout spy hero here is back over by Volksgrad. We spy a bear sundling army in the north over there, but also that the Ropsman clan army has gone back towards Prague. So Kislev is mostly safe for now. Nothing's going after it seemingly, and we've got to make our way back over to try and take Volksgrad, and we can complete this province. But alas, the bear sungling come our way towards Kislev with a big old army. Now luckily, we've still got that small army we've had there from before. We've still got our hero next to them, scouting their position and seeing where they're moving. And we're going to continue our plan as normal, going after Volksgrad. There's nothing Katerin can do over here, so might as well just keep on with the plan to take this province. We should be fine over here. We can see that the Ropsman clan have just retreated to Prague, so they're pretty much on their last legs. All we got to do is take out this bear sundling army. I'm going to take my hero and put her in the army just to help bolster their garrison. And oh scheisse, the bear sundling have come for Kislev. But we're going to attack them, and what do you know, we can Pyrrhic victory them with auto-resolve without having to fight this. We could probably fight this and win either way, but we get a nice easy auto-resolve here. We lose some of our little spawned-up army, but we don't really care because we were going to get rid of them anyway. So it's all coming up roses, and it's all thanks to the scouting of the hero that was checking where the enemy was so that our armies could make the best decisions to not only know what we're running into if we're about to run into a big army, but if the big army is somewhere else, whether it's going to go and attack one of our settlements that we've already taken. So we've managed to get this done very cleanly. We've got a nice big province. We've got Kislev as well. We're on our way to getting rid of the Ropsman clan and moving on from there. All with the power of scouting ahead of us. So that's the first way of using our heroes as scouts. The second way could be as kind of a watchtower. So in this Empire campaign, I've got various lands scattered around, but naturally I've got a lot of enemies in the north. I'm at war with Azazel in the Tower of Krek, I'm at war with Hellpit and the Skaven there, and I'm at war with Throg, who happens to have Prague in this case. So there's the potential for any of these factions to actively pursue me and send armies my way. But given that I don't have any territory right here or any allies, I can't see what's coming if they should send them my way. So I've stationed a couple of heroes as kind of watchtowers or outposts, just to keep an eye on the enemy forces to see when they might start coming my way. This will give the information to know when to prepare for them. Currently there is a Throt army near my lands, and I'm ready for that because I've seen it coming. But keeping a hero or two just patrolling a certain area of land where the enemy has to cross through to get to you can give you all the information you need to know what armies might come your way. And we can see here a big Skaven army now starting to move south kind of in our direction, so we can move one of our armies over to try and intercept. In this case, for the sake of our fellow good guys Kislev, as we move to help defend their lands. But you get the idea. We're using heroes as kind of little watchtowers to see anything, any of the traffic that passes through that area. We can see it, keep eyes on it, and know what it's doing, when it's coming for us potentially, and we can use that information for good decision making. Another way we can use our heroes and their scouting intelligence gathering power is before we're even at war with anybody. If there's a faction that you suspect might declare war on you soon, you need to be ready for it. So we can see here with Malice Dorkblade's faction, we're very unfriendly and deteriorating, so that's a recipe for war in the future. Might be in 2 turns, might be in 20, might be never, who knows, but it's good to know what potential enemies might throw at you. If they've got a full stack of war hydras, maybe that's something you'll want to plan for. But as we see here, scouting into the enemy lands, we see very little in the way of any enemy armies, so seemingly nothing to worry about. One little army over here, but nothing that is a threat to us. But of course, being a Dark Elf faction with good old Black Arcs, they could be out at sea somewhere, and who knows, maybe they'll attack me on my coastal settlements. But still, scouting into their lands and seeing what their defenses are like, this shows me that they're very undefended and vulnerable. I could just charge in there with a cheap stack of whatever, and probably take the whole place. And we can do a similar thing if someone does declare war on us. So for example, here in this Boris campaign, I've got a nice bit of territory, got a nice kind of choke point region here, but that son of a bitch Kolek has just declared war on me, so there's a good chance he might come my way. And if he does, I want to know what he's got and where exactly he's going. So we're going to send in the scout, move down this way, and this little Norscan faction, we're also at war with them because they're normally a vassal of Kolek, and he himself resides around here. But we see there's nothing to worry about just yet, nothing immediately on the horizon that's going to cause us any problems. We've got a nice big army anyway, so we're completely prepared for whatever comes our way. It's good to know how much time you've got, basically. That's what we're trying to learn here, how much time we have to prepare. Now, tying into this example, we've also just been declared war on by the Exquisite Pain, who sit here right in the middle of our territory, who could potentially go after a number of our vulnerable settlements. And this is a faction I know nothing about. I don't know where their armies are. I don't know how many armies they've got, how big they are, how tough they are. All I know is I've got a vulnerable 7 garrison settlement right here that needs defending. Now, I've run out of heroes to recruit, so I can't recruit a hero nearby this settlement to go and have a scout and look what they've got. All my heroes are quite far away. Now, I could go for the option of disbanding one of my current heroes just to be able to recruit another one over there, which we could do, and that's a perfectly fine, viable option. But as a temporary solution, we can do exactly the same thing as we do with the scouting heroes with lords. It's just a little more expensive in the upkeep and the supply lines. But as I say, if you can't recruit any heroes for whatever reason, this is a good option to get the same effect. And with just a little bit of movement from this lord, we can see, oh, we found the enemy army. At least one of them. It's pretty big and probably their only army. But we've got lucky finding it here with just a little bit of movement. But now I know where it is, I can defend and plan against it. So I can use this lord and now recruit a few units to help defend from it. Now, furthermore into this example, I've still got the big Boris army over here, who I could bring over to come and take out the Exquisite Pain and that army. But of course, if I do, I'm going to leave these 2 settlements somewhat undefended. But we've still got our hero here, kind of acting as a little watchtower, scouting for Kolek armies, because he's still at war with us. But as we can see, no immediate threats from Kolek or his vassal. So I've got all the information I need to know that I've got the time to nip over and take out the Exquisite Pain army before they cause me any problems. And as we move on a couple of turns, we can still see everything's fine over here. Grimgor's come along and taken a settlement off these Norskans, which is fine by me. But we know if anything does come that way, we've got a few turns to build up an army at one of those settlements if need be. For now, we can take out the Exquisite Pain, their big army, and take one of their settlements all in the process. And again, we've been able to make well-informed decisions for a nice clean interaction, all because of the power of scouting and spying around. So you understand to use your heroes as scouts, as spies, to check what's going on around you as much as possible. The more intel you can gather, the better decisions you can make. Do think as well about how you apply your heroes and their skill points. Do you want your hero to be embedded in an army all of the time and not really be a scout or a spy? Then you don't really need to put any of the skill points into the blue line, you can put it mostly in the yellow. If you do want to have your hero be a dedicated spy or scout, then put all of your skill points in the 4 blue line skills that are important. Eventually though, you will get enough skill points that you won't really need to put any more into the blue line, so you might start getting some yellow, or you could just make kind of a hybrid hero who can do a little bit of both, but getting those blue skill line points can just make your hero a little more effective at the role, being able to do various things to the enemies, especially blocking armies. That's a pretty huge one. If you can stop the enemy from getting near you so quickly, that is incredibly useful. But there we go, use heroes as your eyes and you can make much better decisions to help your campaign efforts. I hope you've enjoyed this, thanks for watching, I will see you in the future.